No fear, no fear, no fear, no fear, no fear here, and declare your independence. I'm here in Hancock here in Phoenix, Arizona, from the beautiful studios of Freedoms with an S, freedomsphoenix.com. Ooh, I almost got up early. Yeah, this is first day back in the studio from the Libertarian National Convention, which was all kinds of wonderful. If you heard Tuesday's show from Orlando, we reran it yesterday. Donna and I went, hot air ballooning. We may talk about in the second hour. And there's a lot of stuff still going on. There's, the things that are happening. Well, there's a lot of other stuff going on, too. We're going to be talking to Nick Dranias here in just a second. He has an I wouldn't call it an initiative. It's not like a petition initiative. It's an initiative with the states to do a compact for America, compactforamerica.org. And Nick and I have been talking about this for, over a decade, about how we're going to fix America. And I'm just like, it's going to get fixed one way or another. But he has an idea to fix it, and we're going to talk to him about it. Nick, welcome to the show.
Hey, Ernie, it's great to be on.
Okay, you gave a presentation at the last discussion group, and there's a monthly thing that we go to that meets except in the summer months, and we just took a hiatus till September. And it's been around for, 40 years or so, 20, long time. And it's a lot of the boys. I mean, you get the Americans for Prosperity this and the Cato that and the Goldwater Institute, what's his name, and doctor, lawyer, judges, and everybody sits around, and some of us black sheep, you're still voting people, are kind of what up. But, Nick has been pushing for quite a while an opportunity to try and, what is the main purpose? Is it financial, or is it other things go into that, or are we just focusing on the financials and the debt and such and deficit in America? Tell me what is you're hoping to accomplish.
Well, everything's related, but the root cause of limitless federal power and federal government and federal overreach is money. And the root cause of the appearance or the illusion of limitless money for the federal government is limitless borrowing capacity. So what we're doing is we're trying to limit the federal government's borrowing capacity, put a limit on the credit card so they can stop stealing from future generations, enslaving future generations, and imposing or threatening to impose a tax or an inflation burden that no one can handle.
When you said that, what popped in my head is you're going to limit the credit card, and I'm going, no, just get another credit card. So I'm wondering, we had the same thing here in the state where they, in fact, I went to, Arizona Supreme Court twice on just this one issue on the education, overcharge of forwarding, check kiting, whatever the hell thing that they do, and they just reclassify a lot of the debt. They'll say, well, that's a nice Taj Mahal for the Supreme Court building, but that's kind of a lease thing, We're leasing, then the entire military-industrial complex, we're leasing those tanks. It's not really a debt, this kind of, it just goes to the, you know what I mean?
No, I think you're right. That's why we designed this as a spending limit. We limit the federal government to spending cash derived from taxes or only in full faith and credit borrowing. And those are the only sources of spending. And then we limit full faith and credit borrowing. So there's no way to create an exotic form of debt or cash flow that isn't either taxes or full faith and credit borrowing.
Okay, you heard it here first. There's no way that they're going to be. I'm going, there's a way, man. Well, I think what the best thing is your effort is a demonstration of the will of certainly your supporters and the people and the effort and the legislators and people going into and making a big deal out of, and this was the intent of, and then it may take them a decade or 2 years or whatever to start playing shenanigans with it. But tell us what the actual compact with these states, how it works. Tell us the whole concept and idea and why you structured it the way you did and what you hope will happen.
All right. Well, as you know, the Constitution allows for amendments. We've done 27 amendments so far. Each one of them has been proposed by Congress. There's also another way of obtaining amendments, and that is by application of state legislatures for a convention. And the problem with that, of course, is that everyone wonders what that means, and it's not spelled out in the Constitution, and a lot of folks are fearful that the process would run out of control. So with the compact approach, we actually have the states agree upfront in advance 38 states, the number you need for ratification, to the entire amendment process, so you know exactly what you're going to get. And then we build a number of safeguards into the process so it shuts itself down if anything goes haywire. And these safeguards are not just legal, they're political incentive based as well, so that we're not just relying on the goodwill of our court system, which is dubious.
Well, I mean, you know, I'm giving you a chance. Well, we probably start off the next segment with some actual details of exactly what it says and so on. But the concept is that it comes from closer to the people. It's the state legislature. They call for the convention, but they don't want to. Everybody's all freaked out what might happen. So it's explain to me how the contract keeps the convention from going. We are now a fascist republic of socialist, whatever the heck.
All right, well, nothing happens till 38 states agree to this contract. The contract has to be consummated. 38 states have to join it in 7 years or else it self-repeals. So you have real live political will backing it at a massive level that, you know, just from a crass political perspective, is going to align most political ambitions with the outcome. The outcome that the compact specifies is not subject to debate. It has a specific balanced budget amendment in it. It has the rules for the convention in it. It designates who the delegates will be at the convention. It limits the number of delegates to no more than 3 per state. It limits the convention to no more than 24 hours. So there's a very easy way to assess if things are starting to go haywire. The first order of business mandated by the agreement is to vote those rules into place to limit to 24 hours. If anything else happens, people involved in the compact, all 38 states, cannot participate. That means that if it does go haywire, somehow someone's going to have to extract about 16 of the 38 states to violate the agreement they just agreed to in the past 7 years. And that means that some Machiavellian is going to have to decide that that's more to their political interest than staying true to it. Now, the reality is that everything in politics can be abused. All you can do is hope that you can align the incentives correctly. The reality is that since this has to take place in 7 years, because everyone's agreeing in complete detail to what they're setting out to do, the political benefit from going along with the program is much greater than the political benefit of trying to impede it or to violate it. And the likelihood of peeling off almost half of the members to do the opposite thing is extremely low. And so that's the essential safeguard. Now, Hey, man, I just came from the Libertarian National Convention. They got a whole bunch of Robert's rules of suspension of the orders of can I finish and, you know, I rise a personal privilege of point of information of I kind of just changed it. You know what I mean? They just changed it. And what the compact very clearly says is that the rules cannot be changed, that the convention will adjourn in 24 hours. The only possible exception to that is an emergency suspension based on a threat, but that requires the chairman to propose it, and it requires him to sustain that suspension over the objections of a majority of the attendees. So other than that, there's no other exceptions. There's no way to suspend the rules. There's no way to suspend the convention. Either it gets done in 24 hours or it doesn't. And here's the key thing. The reason why the bad guys, the folks who may want to disrupt it, won't mess with this is that in a 24-hour convention with up to 150 people participating and everyone wanting to say something, it's much easier to shut it down by filibustering. It's much easier to disrupt it, to throw an Occupy Wall Street thing at it and just shut it down to prevent it from doing anything than it is to try to peel off enough people to control the quorum. Okay, and when we come back, that's a key difference. We're going to start getting into the details of it and what it would do and how. We'll be right back. Nick Dranias.
When it comes to investing in precious metals, you need a source you can trust who offers you choices and empowers you to maximize your wealth. That's where Roberts & Roberts Brokerage can help. Roberts & Roberts is a trusted name in precious metals. Since 1977, Roberts & Roberts has been providing you with the finest gold and silver bullion, coins, rounds, and bars at genuine and honest prices. They make it easy to invest in precious metals and work with you to suit your investment needs. In addition to offering gold and silver for sale for U.S. dollars, Roberts & Roberts Brokerage is now accepting Bitcoin in exchange for their quality precious metals products. To speak with a professional from Roberts & Roberts about investing in precious metals, call toll-free 800-874-9760. Write this number down, 800-874-9760. Visit Roberts & Roberts online at rrbi.co. That's rrbi.co. On behalf of Roberts & Roberts, here's hoping your day is as good as gold.
Every once in a while, you get information that's worth changing your life for. This is one such time. You can save up to and beyond 25% on all purchases at Amazon. You probably heard of Bitcoin and just not thought much about it. You certainly know that you can get competitive pricing at Amazon, but now you can get a 25% discount on nearly everything you need to live. I've just given you a huge raise, and all you have to do is claim it. You go to saveitpurse.com and open an account. Do this right now. Don't wait. Then you fund the account with Bitcoin. I know this sounds unbelievable, but at my house, we saved as much as 45% off of a new item on Amazon. This information is worth you changing the way you do things. Go to saveitpurse.com right now, get signed up, and cash in on the huge raise I'm offering you. 15 to 25% off of everything at Amazon through saveitpurse.com. It's saveatpurse.com.
This is your Robertson Roberts Brokerage Daily Precious Metals Update. In early trading Wednesday, gold is $1 lower at $1,215 per ounce. Silver is even at $16.04 per ounce. Bitcoin is trading at $542 US. Robertson Roberts Brokerage has been helping customers with buying and selling physical precious metals for nearly 40 years. How can we help you? Give us a call at 800-874-9760 or visit us online at rrbi.co.
Did you know you can get news updates about what's happening with the Liberty Radio Network delivered in the way you prefer? You can sign up for our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. Plus, you can stay in the loop by joining our Facebook profile at facebook.lrn.fm or follow us at Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm. It's all free, so sign up now at updates.lrn.fm for news updates delivered to your email box, facebook.lrn.fm to follow our Facebook page, and twitter.lrn.fm to receive our tweets.
Money, power, and respect are all yours at creditsuccesssecretsrevealed.com. Be seen as an industry leader. You can do it. The last application you filled out when it was time to hit submit did your nerves spike. You didn't get the approval you seek, but there's a better.
Okay, 40 seconds before we come back. Is there anything that you want to make sure we get, or you want to go through the process or the intent, or what?
Well, let's talk about the amendment. Let's talk about the fact that we just got a hearing in Washington, so we're getting some attention from the folks in the belly of the beast. Let's go at it on
a hearing. What? Congressional hearing?
The commission that we created with this compact had its first full hearing in the Rayburn office building in Washington D.C., which actually took the approval of the leadership structure in Congress. So,
okay, you can tell me about it. Here we go.
If you enjoy LRN.FM, please contribute to your favorite shows via their websites and become an amplifier at amp.lrn.fm. That's amp.lrn.fm.
Roads? It's the Ernest Hancock Show. Where we're going, there aren't any roads.
No roads. Where we're going. Where's my freaking flying car? Okay, Nick Dranias. We've had him on before. Had lots of conference. He's been focused on this issue one way or another for quite a while. He's president and executive director of Compact for America Educational Foundation, Inc., which is a 501c3 charity that focuses on educating citizens and statesmen about the power of interstate compacts to achieve constitutional amendments and other reforms. He also serves as board member of Compact for America, Inc., a 501c4, and as a Civil Liberties Advisory Council member for Our America Initiative. Also, he's got a lot of 501 somethings. All right, he was General Counsel, Constitutional Policy Director for Goldwater Institute here in Arizona, and we've known him for years and years and years. And he's always been very welcome, whether I in support or not, to come on and yak about it. So we're going to yak about it. The one thing off air he was saying is that there has been a hearing in D.C. Wait. Hearing. All right. Well, tell me about your hearing. All right. What happened in D.C. on this Compact for America, Nick?
Well, the cool thing about the compact is we don't just have a contract. We create a interstate agency to represent the states in their fight for a balanced budget amendment. And that agency, the Compact Commission, had its first full hearing with its 3 appointed commissioners, the Speaker Pro Tem from Mississippi, the former Lieutenant Governor of Alaska, and a sitting representative in Georgia, in the belly of the beast in Rayburn House office building. And what's significant about it is in order to get a hearing room in the House office building, we had to have at least some support from leadership in the Congress. And what we're finding is that a lot of these congressmen, maybe not 2/3 of the House, but maybe as much as simple majorities, recognize they have a problem. They don't have the strength to cut off their addiction.
Wow, we got it.
Look at other people.
A majority of congressmen are thinking we broke 50%, think there's a problem? Oh my God. When we got 4% of the people think have any favorable rating of Congress. 4%. The only people less than that are the media. I mean, it's 4%. I'm like, damn, and only 50% of them are seeing there's a problem? All right. So you got enough people saying, hey, man, we're going to let you, get some street cred and have a meeting in our thing, and kind of we approve of you having a meeting. And the purpose of the meeting and the result of the meeting was what?
Well, the purpose is to get some pressure on the pending resolution in Congress that requires a simple majority, HCR 26, to approve, to activate the compact and get Congress out of the way. See, what we're trying to do with our amendment approach is get Congress out of the way early in the process, not wait till we're massing too much threat to them for them to put their back out and try to stop it. And so the goal of this was not only to legitimize our commission, which is already legitimate, but to legitimize it in the eyes of the people who walk the halls of Congress, but also to funnel a lot of the excitement that results from it to supporting HCR 26, and that actually is set up for a hearing. We don't have an exact date yet, but has been committed to be set up for a hearing by Congressman Trent Franks and Congressman Goodlatte. We're hopeful that it's going to be this month. If it's not this month, it'll likely be in the fall. But the bottom line is that in order to get this issue moving forward, we've got to get through the hurdle of Congress. We've got to prevent them from messing with the process. We want to do that early, get them out of the way early. We want to do it when we look like a birthday resolution, when we're all political upside, when we're not at all a threat to their power. And that way we can turn it to the states and look for leadership in the states where there is a pathway to 38 states. We only need 34 more to get it done. And I say only because this has been done 23 times before. There are 23 compacts or uniform laws with 38 or more states. Now, they're not on amendments, but they're on politically controversial things very often. And some of those have been done in as few as 3 years. So once we get this thing turned over to the states where we don't have to worry about the ways that hand grenades could be thrown at it from Washington, then we can get the job done in as few as 2 or 3 years. And we've got to get it done in 2 or 3 years because the whole thing sunsets April 12th, 2021.
Well, do they feel any of the pressure? Are they just giving it lip service for election year now, or are they kind of, we're going to, for future America, and we got to hurry up and get on it, and the states are starting to come on? What?
Well, yeah, I think it's a combination of the three. I'd say that the majority of the motive in Congress seems to be political, right? But not overwhelmingly so. And even if it is, we're trying to align their political interests with this outcome. We're trying to show them that, hey, even if you look at this crassly, this is to your benefit. And the polling data is there. People have wanted this at supermajority levels for 40 years. They've just been afraid of the process. And now that we have a safe way for the states to organize the proposal of a balanced budget amendment in 24 hours within 7 years, then that gets people excited. What I'm really hopeful about is that the Rules Chairman, Congressman Pete Sessions, behind the scenes has been very instrumental in getting us that hearing room and fighting through some minor snafus that we've had. The Rules Chairman is effectively the second most powerful person in the House. The Speaker obviously is the most powerful, but the Rules Chairman decides what gets to the floor, and we think that he's very supportive, and his team is very supportive. His Chief of Staff is very supportive, in addition to Congressman Franks, who's also supportive, and then, of course, the 20 sponsors we have. Now, we want to get up to 50 to 100 sponsors to be more politically meaningful, but look, I mean, what's interesting is that Congress is increasingly recognizing it has a problem. It's increasingly open to the idea of looking to outside intervention. It may be a fleeting moment. It may be just a flash in the pan, but that's why we want to be sitting on the floor of Congress or fighting in the halls in Congress when that flash exists so we can get it done.
Okay, so we got a flash. Well, this flash is going to, that's what you're building up to. Is this going to be off election year or right after the election year, or kind of give something people talk about in gubernatorial races and the local, the congressional, I'm running for kind of. See, I can feel the politics in this, It's kind of a Grover Norquist tax signing thing. So you're gonna make this a conservative requirement of, well, what is your position on the debt compact, blah, blah, blah. That's what you're hoping for, I would imagine.
Well, as a C3, we can't get that directly involved, but, stuff like that will happen organically.
I see a whole bunch of C4 crap here, man.
Yeah, our C4 does a few things, but it's not, even C4s are limited. We're not a PAC. What we want to see is things that are more organic. Grover Norquist has endorsed us. Judge Andrew Napolitano has endorsed us. Steve Moore just joined us as our national spokesman. He's endorsed us.
All right, who's Steve Moore? Why do I care about Steve Moore? Who's that?
Oh, he used to be the editor-in-chief over at the Wall Street Journal. He started the Club for Growth.
Oh, well, crap. We got to listen to what he says. Well,
hey, it's not about us, man. It's about the folks that we're pitching, right? They want to see political upside in what we're doing, and we're feeding them everything they need to see for political upside. Now, the merits are with us. Saving the country is with us. Saving our kids is with us. But in the end, we've got to make the political sale first. And we can't do it directly as a C3, but we can let other folks do it for us.
All right. So, all right. I'm looking at this. Let's say we go through the process. We should talk about the process. When we come back, we're going to go through this process. How do the states get involved with it? What do they propose? How is it voted on? Where is it said that this state's for or against? How do they have, it called? Who's in the way? What are they doing preemptively now to keep it from being stopped when they want to have the convention and get voting? The 24 hours and America's saved. And my thing is, I'm going, okay, what about our current debt now? Does that get repudiated, replaced? A refi on America? Our grandkids paying what?
Ross Ulbricht was convicted in.
All right, we'll get to all that when we come back. Okay, I got to tell you about. All right, what was your perception in the media? I mean, because I was there, and so what was the perception of the Libertarian National Convention? What was the one thing that sticks out in your mind, or two or three things?
Well, I think the guy getting naked is
Of course! Of course! That was awesome. All right.
I mean, it's sad because I think, again, I'm the C3, I can't participate in this sort of discussion, so let me take my hat off, put my C4 hat on, and then also speak as Nick. The reality is, I think this is the most plausible year for the Libertarian Party to win. I mean, it doesn't mean they're likely to win, but it's the most plausible year for them to win. And so it's natural the media would marginalize everything with a naked fat guy.
This is, as we're sitting there, everybody is going, they're just head down, hanging head. And the only thing that we were concerned about was two things. One, did he have a freedom of expression, kind of a theme of whatever, and kind of lightly, not enough. The other thing is that he had 10 minutes. We're like, is he going to use this whole 10 minutes, really? I mean, can we nip this in the bud a little bit? So then I'm going, okay, hold on a second. Yeah, go ahead. Have him come on. So what happened was they do the he gets up there, he does the thing, and it's kind of fun for a while. And it's embarrassing. And I know the Republican types, they were freaking out, So all the libertarians is like, yeah, this is like, same old, what's the difference? Well, at least he didn't go totally naked, but, they might as well have been. So we're sitting there, whatever. Well, what is it? Well, the next convention in 2 years is in New Orleans. I see the meme all over. Libertarian party, man, they partay. We got naked. I'm going to see the memes all over the place promoting the next convention. We're going to have us some fun. The other thing is that if it wasn't that, it would have been the schism between the delegates and the 50% it took to get Bill Weld the VP nomination. And I'm going, you had your choice. It was going to be making fun of Weld, or it's going to be making fun of the naked guy at the Libertarian National Convention. And that was the number one story it was going to be, was the Weld thing and the opposition the people had and the booze of whatever. The fact they had a naked zombie dancing, that was served everybody's purpose and distraction. Look at this hand over here. I guarantee it. So I didn't see it as that big a deal. The thing is that, of course, they'll try but it's advertising. Those guys at the Libertarian Party, man, they still party. And the other thing is that he got up, he did it, nobody tackled him, nobody died. It wasn't that big a deal. They go, you're not allowed and you shouldn't, and now quit it, and so on. But then you had the Republican types getting up. I move that we have a resolution to skin that guy live on national television. Go get some. And everybody's like, oh, let it go, man. Just chill. So it was a really good education for everybody there. And in the end, I think it kept the Libertarians light when you have and that was the one thing that was the most successful part of this convention, was that the radicals got to have their say. Not that I equated him with that, but they got to have their say, and instead of it just being now the Libertarians are Republican with 2 Republican governors. I'm going, if that was the message that came out, which I know makes you feel all warm and fuzzy, but for a lot of the people, that was the number one thing that they did not want to happen. It was split like right down the middle, and it took everything they could to get enough people in there to make sure that Gary and Weld got in, and they just barely made it. So everybody kind of got their representation, which is, why you had all 5. The presidential debate was awesome. Everybody got their say. I felt no NOTA from Arizona. It's the first time that's happened in 25 years I've been doing this, that there wasn't a NOTA vote on the first round. All right, here we go.
And .fm.
It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. To be a part of the show, call 602-264-2800.
Okay, Nick Dranias, compact for America, okay? So we're going to have this compact for America, and just so I hope it's not on us, that was kind of the contract, on America, Newt Gingrich, 94, kind of, seriously, that just, we can go on and on about that. But it's the same kind of crowd. We're going to get our financial house in order. Now, how they're going to do that is the 2 things that we had preemptively. You had a hearing in D.C. that was kind of, you had to have, House leadership allow you to be in a room. If you got a room, you can have a meeting. You got a couple of press, and kind of, it's the beginning of making the rules in such a way to kind of block the House of Representatives from blocking your convention or calling it or something. Kind of sum that up for me in 15 seconds, will you please?
Yeah, in order for the compact to work, you got to get 38 states to reach this agreement, but you also have Congress passing a simple majority resolution activating the agreement. And basically the resolution just says we're calling the convention in accordance with that compact, we're getting out of the way, and we're allowing legislatures to ratify the amendment. So we want to pass that resolution on the congressional side early, when we're not at 38 states, when we're not at 25 states, when we're 4 states like we are right now, because we don't want to be perceived as a political threat. We want to be perceived as a political benefit. We want Congress to say, hey, I can vote for this resolution. It doesn't threaten me directly. I might be out of office. I might be the president. I don't have to worry about when the states get to 38 states. But in the meantime, I can say I'm for a balanced budget amendment. I'm for state sovereignty. I'm for state leadership. I'm for cutting off the addicts from their source of addiction. And so that's essentially the pitch. All we require is some minimal humility from congressmen to let the states lead on this issue when it is nothing but political upside for them. And that's the goal.
Okay. Now, you kind of run over it like we understand what you're talking about, so I need to ask some questions. When you get the states, enough states to call this, they say, all right, we're done. We got what you're trying to do is preempt the ability of Congress to stop it, not put it. You need to get more detail on what you're talking about, because I don't understand, what the mechanism by which you would call the convention or that they would prevent the convention. So what you're saying, the change that you're making is to prevent Congress or force them to what?
Well, let's take a step back and look at the Constitution without this process.
Please.
What the Constitution says is when 2/3 of the state legislatures petition to Congress for a convention, Congress shall call the convention. And if the convention proposes an amendment, then Congress shall select the mode of ratification, how it's ratified, whether it's by state legislature or in-state convention. Congress controls it. And if you look at the Constitution...
Okay, wait. Stop. Let's go right back to that.
Yep.
They control with these two options, or they can say anyway they draw straws, throw darts, roll dice. I mean, I'm wondering, how, because you're saying, no, they have to this and they have to that. I'm like, where's all this wiggle room come from?
Yeah, so Congress is required, it shall call the convention when 2/3 of the states petition for one. But Congress, sometimes ignores the Constitution. Congress might get cute and say, yeah, I'll call the convention, but we'll run it, right? So there's the reality, and then there's the intention. The intention is clear. Congress is supposed to call the convention automatically and get out of the way and let the states lead. But the reality is, because you have Congress in a position of control, in a position of leverage, there's no telling what Congress might do on the front end. And then on the back end, even if we got to a convention and even if we had a good amendment proposed, then Congress still controls the mode of ratification. It can sit on it and maybe never refer it out for ratification. It can put a sunset and say you got to get it ratified in 4 months. Try doing that in 38 states, right? And it can select either legislatures or conventions to ratify. And sometimes, you can't get something done through an in-state convention that you could get done through a legislature and vice versa. That's why they did the repeal of prohibition through conventions, not legislatures, because they knew they didn't have the votes in the legislature. So Congress has two significant points of leverage. They're supposed to play along with the process. They're supposed to, yield to it, to be the handmaiden of the states and give the people what they want. But obviously they have the power at two junctures to say no, or to mess with it, or to derail it. And so what we're trying to do is say, you know what? Let's not wait and see what Congress does at those two junctures. Let's get Congress to commit to what they're going to do in both of those junctures ahead of time before we get there and get them out of the way. So that's the resolution that's pending in Congress. We're getting Congress to agree to call the convention in accordance with this compact, and we're getting Congress to agree to select legislative ratification in accordance with the compact. And we're doing that in one resolution. We're passing it with 51%, 50 plus 1 of Congress, of each House of Congress, and then they're out of it. Then, if they're going to mess with the process, they have to repeal this resolution. And repealing things, even at simple majorities, is very difficult. It's always easier to it's relatively easier to defend something than it is to actually get it passed. So once we get it passed, it'll be easier to defend it. It'll be hard politically for people to justify fighting against a balanced budget amendment.
Okay, now let me go ahead and we haven't got to the next part yet. Now they go, all right, fine, you get to have your whatever. Now they're saying this to whom? I mean, who's going to be chair of the convention? Who's going to order? Who's going to do the rules? Who's going to vote on how to count of burden and nuts and bolts and
it's
details of we meet at this one place?
It's all turnkey. It's all spelled out in the compact. You can go to our website, compactoramerica.org, go to our legislative page. You'll see it. The chairman is the governor of Georgia right now. It's Governor Nathan Deal. He's the Compact Commission, which is formed, which has the former Lieutenant Governor of Alaska, a sitting legislator from Georgia, the Speaker Pro Tem of Mississippi, is the oversight agency that keeps everything on track. The rules are specified word for word in the compact. You can read them. So, what they're yielding to is a contract in complete detail to everything, all the logistics, all the substance, all the content, all the procedures spelled out in advance in this agreement.
Okay, so let me ask one question. In this agreement, it's going to say, thou shalt, meet at some place to be determined by whom? I mean, is it already where we're going to go to hotel? What?
It says that Dallas, Texas is the location of the convention. It says that the convention must be held within 6 weeks of 38 states being joining the compact.
And Dallas is why? Just because it's kind of centrally located and you still assume Texas will be part of the union by then?
Well, there's a lot of reasons. And, since it sunsets in April 12, 2021, we think that the current makeup of the court system in Texas will be relatively the same. And if so, that means it's a very constitutionalist court system compared to other options like the Ninth Circuit. So if there were to be any litigation, we want it there. The second thing is it is very easily accessible. We don't want to have people going to Juneau, right? We want people to easily get there from 50 states because it's a 24-hour convention. Everything is mapped out in military-like precision, so we want everyone there on time, get the job done, and go home.
Okay, now, who makes up the delegations? Now, what'd you say, 3 people per state?
Well, the default setting is a signing governor, but every state can tailor that to up to 3 delegates of their choice. So it could be Mickey Mouse, it could be Donald Duck. But what we've seen is out of the 4 states, 2 states have chosen to send their legislative leadership the House and the Senate President, the House Speaker and the Senate President, and then a minority leader as their 3 delegates. Another 2 states have sent their governors. Alaska and Georgia are sending their governors. Georgia, because it was the first state, is designated the chairman, and that means Governor Deal is the chairman. Now, does that mean Governor Deal is a perfect man? No, but at least we know the political quantity that we're sending there.
Okay, what is his politics? I mean, what are we dealing with here? He goes, I want to be first so I can screw you? I mean, what?
Yeah, he's a moderate Republican type, Southern Republican. He's done a lot of good things. He's done a lot of bad things.
So what is moderate? You see, I'm talking to Nick Dranias, Goldwater Institute, Cato, Koki, kind of whatever crap, and I'm going, your definition of who's kind of moderate and mine are 2 totally freaking different things. So I'm just, explain to me what makes him good or bad.
Well, if you got him fully scripted like we have in this compact, and he's not a whole lot of wiggle room for him, he's just fine. Look, the reality is everyone's agreeing up front in advance to what this thing's going to do. A guy like Nathan Deal has to decide, is it more in his political interest to go along with the program or to fight it? And the reality is because this is all in real time, because it all sunsets in April 12, 2021, it's going to be very foolish politically for him to decide to do the opposite of what he just signed off on.
All right. Well, politically, what about financially?
Uncovering the secrets and exposing the lies. That's what the readers of freedomsphoenix.com get every day. freedomsphoenix.com, constantly providing the information, the real news about government policies, and the real relationship we all have with the coercive government, the real condition of the economy, innovations in technology, breakthroughs in energy, health, and computer science. Learn the truth well before it's admitted to in the lamestream media. The corporate media, nothing more than distributors of government propaganda, but now there's an alternative. freedomsphoenix.com. Constant news updates on the issues that affect your life in the most important ways. With liberty and property under constant attack, freedomsphoenix.com provides the understanding behind the propaganda, and it encourages the participation of its readers. Go to freedomsphoenix.com. That's freedoms with an S, phoenix.com. freedomsphoenix.com. The revolution between the ears has already happened.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today.
Okay, what else do you want to make sure we get into? We got the actual convention part. We know who the chair is going to be. Is there a location set? Oh, yeah, Dallas. So, I mean, how detailed the location? It's just in Dallas, and then who's the convention committee and all that crap?
Well, the commission handles everything as the oversight logistics coordinator, so the commission has to decide.
So the commission, they go, the commission. Well, who's the commission? We'll make that up later. I mean,
no, it exists right now. This is who we just had a hearing with, and the 3 guys who make it up are serving for 7 years.
But who are these 3 guys?
Meade Treadwell, former Lieutenant Governor of Alaska, solid, conservative Republican, as solid as they are, at least. And then the Speaker Pro Tem of Mississippi, Greg Snowden. He's also an attorney. He's really, philosophically, when it comes to fiscal issues, right on the right side of everything. And then Representative Paulette Rakestraw. She's, sort of a younger, up-and-coming woman, entrepreneur, legislator, and I'd say that when it comes to fiscal issues, she's solid as anybody comes. So they're in charge of the commission.
Okay, now let's go. You keep saying that, fiscally solid as. I mean, what makes them, you got to make hedging a little bit on what, they smoke marijuana or something? I mean, what is the criteria for your crowd to be like, these are good guys? Any hesitation, it's always some stupid crap that I don't care about, or is it something substantial?
I don't know. I don't know the depths of their political philosophy enough to say that.
So the people behind it, their political philosophy is what? Who is the financial support of this thing?
Well, so far we've granted all the money that the commission has used to operate.
Who's we?
Who's we? It's donors that we have.
Who's donors that we have?
Well, a lot of them want some privacy, but a couple don't mind if we tell. Our chairman Tom Patterson has been very generous, and so is
Tom
Jim Rodney.
Patterson from here in Arizona.
Yeah, Dr. Tom Patterson. He used to be the chairman of the Goldwater Institute. He's our chairman now.
Well, that tells me everything I need to know right there. Okay. So let's go ahead and talk about, I need to know the money and the philosophy and the people behind it and their motivation and why. Is it a Norquist kind of just, a standard thing? Is it a real effort will save America thing? Is it a something? You got to help me out here, man. All right, we're coming back. Here we go.
Be glad to.
You can connect with the Liberty Radio Network via our Facebook page at facebook.lrn.fm. That's facebook.lrn.fm.
Freedom is the answer. What's the question?
I want to break free.
You're listening to Ernest Hancock.
I want to break free. I want to break free from your lies. You're so self-satisfied. I don't need you.
Yeah, just want to break free from your lies. Okay, let's try and find out. We've been talking about, Nick has had this as a focus, this financial constitutional amendment, federal government can't spend no more, kind of stop them in their tracks.
It's an anti-slavery amendment, Ernie. Come on.
All right. Financial slavery. Well, let's think about that. Okay, now you brought it up. I'm going, okay, my first question in any of these efforts, I always ask Nick, I go, all right, do my grandchildren owe this big debt that they already created? Is that like a refi on what we got now? Yeah, but pinky swear it won't go any higher ever again because of whatever. But yeah, we're kind of got to pay our debt thing, So I'm just like dead letter as far as I'm concerned because my granddaughter does not owe any of this crap. So,
well, you know what? You got to stop the bleeding, and then we can turn around and repeal the part of the 14th Amendment that guarantees repayment of the debt. But that's a little bit of a tougher push. The reality is this: if we had capped the debt, the capacity to borrow back in 2006, when Barack Obama opposed lifting the federal statutory debt limit, if we had capped it like our amendment proposes, then we would have cut our debt burden in half. We probably would have prevented any expansion of wars. We probably would have caused the incentivization of shrinking a lot of needless military bases around the country. A lot of needless programs would not have expanded. Probably never would have seen TARP. Never would have seen anything like the expansion of the Obamacare system. All those things were only made possible because of this limitless credit card. So don't poo-poo the power of just putting a limit on a limitless credit card. I mean, if you don't have a limit on a credit card and if you don't have to pay it back, you're going to do crazy stuff.
No, this is a conversation. Congress is worse than, 19-year-olds that got their first credit card after high school because they got a student loan or by the time they're 24, they probably got 4 or 5 credit cards, and they go, oh, we're going to put a limit and you can't. And they go, let me tell you how creative I can get in spending me some money. All right. So and then they, so many comparisons I can make, but the main thing, save time. I'm going, all right, the people behind their incentive for doing this, it's one of two things. Well, it's one big thing. They see it in their self-interest to advocate for this compact with America or on where the hell it is. I'm going, they're going to go ahead and say, we need to do this because why? I mean, and the people, you mentioned Tom Patterson from here in Arizona. Wasn't Tom? Yeah, he was head of the Goldwater Institute at one time. He's a state legislator, decent enough guy, but he's carrying the water for somebody. Who?
He's not carrying the water for anybody. Ernie, we're all motivated by saving our country, and one of the things I'm pretty good at is identifying people with integrity, and that's why I enjoy speaking with you so much. We may disagree on the outermost extensions of our integrity, but I think we all have a core value system that's very similar. And I think that's true of everyone at Compact for America. And then, of course, with the Compact Commission, the agency that oversees this whole process, represents the states, goes mano to mano with Congress. The folks that are working there aren't making any significant cash. I mean, we've granted them maybe 70 or 80 grand over the past couple of years, but that's just mostly covering their travel expenses that they're squeezing in between real jobs. And frankly, the latest guy, the Speaker Pro Tem of Mississippi, hasn't charged us anything. Hasn't charged the commission a dime.
That's piddly money. I mean, before you even get started, it's we're not even going to do anything until somebody, Daddy Warbucks, has $1 million, $3 million, $5 million, $10 million. Make sure we can go through this 7-year process as somebody's filling out the paperwork. I get that, okay? And you're Mr. Attorney if I'm going to do and advocate, and I got a job for 7 years. I understand, okay?
Ernie, look, I'm not interested in this as a job. Frankly, we've structured it so that whenever we're low on cash, below $100,000 in the bank, we don't get paid. There were a couple of months when we were like that. This is not about the cash. This is about saving the country.
No, that's not my point.
It's nothing to do with that.
That's not my point. My point is that this is just, before you even started, you're going to have people do it, and you want to make sure they got paid to even do it. It's a job. I'm going to do this job. Somebody's getting hired to do this job. You're not going to have anybody give you any more money until you got seed money to show that whatever they're investing in is going to continue till the end of the process. I get that. I'm not criticizing the money. I'm not criticizing the money, okay? You
All right.
spend whatever money to go do and kind of get it done. But somebody that ponies up that money to make sure that this gets done has to want it done. So I'm going, I want it done bad enough that I'm going to pay these guys to do it. Here's the cash. Here's we got the health care, and you got a rental car, the expenses of kind of whatever. However much that is, don't care. It's a national Save America, the empire of the universe, and kind of done, a few $1 million, piddly money. All right? That's not my point. My point is whoever would put that up is going to be one of two people. I'm patriarch American, and in my will I bequeath and did, and I'm the old lady of the widow of what's-his-face, and I see this as a great idea, and Nick's purdy, and he convinced me, and I part of my money and go kick ass, or it's somebody else that sits there and go, there is some political or financial benefit in the strategy for me having people sign on. Are you for or against this? Are you for or against it? Well, it's never going. I don't care if it goes forward. It's like Norquist tax crap, okay? There is some benefit for somebody that's funding this. I want to know what it is because we're Americans and we love grandchildren and stuff. I'm like, yeah, since when? So I'm just going, so you got to get behind the money, the seed money, the money, and help me understand why they're pushing this. And go, man, go.
All I could do is speak to one of our largest donors who's willing to be publicly identified, and that's Jim Rodney of the Rodney Fund. He's about 94 years old, and he's tired of seeing the direction the country's gone in. And he gave us most of the initial seed money that we had, high six figures, and his motivation is pure. He's got a large number of grandchildren. He's got only a few years left in his life. He was one of the guys who saw Detroit when it was the Silicon Valley of the country. He sees that it's not that anymore. He understands the role of the federal government's overreach and overgrowth as suppressing and destroying much of what Detroit was. He understands that the root cause of this is unlimited borrowing capacity, creates the illusion of unlimited resources that then propels the unlimited growth of the federal government. So he sees all these things. And so he's doing it because he wants to protect his family. He wants to protect his family's friends, and the networks to sustain everything that makes our country great. I mean, that's the kind of motivated donor that we have. And even the smaller donors, I know each and every one of them in a personal way, not just Tom Patterson. And these guys are all motivated by saving the country. Look, John Hancock got behind the American Revolution against the most powerful empire in the world. That was a foolish financial investment, but he did it because he recognized the value of liberty, and there still are people like that.
Okay, what kind of repercussions are people like that, expecting? Are they protected in some way, or I'm 94 and I don't give a crap, or
a lot of them, Jim doesn't care about anything, and he'll fight back. He's not, he's not feeble at his age even.
Well, Nick, I got to tell the audience, Nick is really good at, this kind of presentation and rhetoric and appealing to an American kind of, and he has a good track record of actually delivering the spokesperson, be up front and make it kind of go were. And he's always been willing to come on and and pass through the gauntlet here on Declare Your Independence. So Nick's a good guy to have on your side to do exactly this kind of thing. He never breaks character. I mean, it's like he is for this. He's going to be for it, and this is what he's going to advocate. Now, my next series of questions. One thing you can just help you monologue me is that okay? Who are you reaching out to? What demographic is it you think it's going to give you the support? Is it Tea Partyans? Is it Libertarians? Is it everybody? Is it Trump people? We got a whole bunch of, progressive Clintonistas on your side? Or, I got to tell you this. At the convention, somebody did a speech and they called Clinton and Trump the clump. Yeah, well, the clump is this and the clump says that, and the clump, I'm going, I'm hitting myself for not thinking of that first, But so the clump, are they supportive of this at all? Or so I'm wondering what's your target, for support of this in the just a public opinion arena.
Look, I hate to say it, Ernie, you're only a small part of our target market. I mean, we got to get to 38 states. That means we do need the clump. We need everyone who's not interested in crashing and burning the country, who's not interested in just, enslaving future generations. We need all people of goodwill, left, right, and center. And there are enough of them to make it happen. But we do need your help, Ernie. We need more millennials. I mean, the younger folks out there who are the ones being enslaved seem to have the least interest. So anything you do to help on that front, send them to compactforamerica.org.
I'm more than willing. Compact on with America. God, I got me so messed up here. Compactforamerica.org. Compactforamerica.org. And I just want to make sure that these young guys, I'm not steering them into another just, brain damage kind of whatever thing. And because I believe, and what I saw at the Libertarian National Convention, they're just waiting for the collapse and what's going to happen next. They're going, yeah, but America will be saved and the flag will be different. And they're like, you're confusing me with somebody that cares. There's borders. I mean, so it's a whole different mindset. Nick is giving them a way out. Save America. Save America. Go check out compactforamerica.org. They got a plan, and it's a short time period, so maybe we might get something done.
A report on obesity rates
Thanks, Ernie.
released this.
There you go. All right.
That was awesome.
Yeah, no, thanks for coming on. We got everything out, and somebody and they go look and get some interest to something. So how is it looking in the media with all of the presidential stuff? Has it started to penetrate at all in any campaign or awareness? Or are you getting any attention?
Not in the media is swamped with presidential politics. We've got regional media, local media. Those things always seem to be interested. But what's interesting is one of our lobbyists in Oklahoma is actually Trump's ground guy, so we've gotten some weird outreach from a bunch of presidential candidates, not just Trump. We had Jeb's people reaching out to us earlier. Didn't go anywhere, but there is, and it's probably for crass political reasons, but there does seem to be some interest in this issue, some interest in our approach to it.
Well, you'll take some crass support. I mean, that's all
I'll
good.
take what I got.
We did at one of the guys. All right, this is Friday or something before I went, a few days before I went to the LP convention. I was there, I don't know, like 4 or 6 days, whatever. So he goes like this, $100 in Bitcoin saved the planet. And I go, all right, give me your idea. I'm always a soft touch for that. So we did these signs. They're just handheld signs, 10 inches high by, 18 inches wide, got something on there. And it said, I'm already against the next war. Okay. So I went with a bunch of these signs, got all the candidates, everybody holding it on their chest. And during debate, I'm slipping it up on camera. And I'm like, you need a compactforamerica.org. You get into conventions, a little something, slip into because once you penetrate with signs and it's up there, what is that? And I go check out, then it becomes, even more crass. They're wanting some political advantage or whatever. You got to get some street activism, man. Get on TV with your signs and stuff. Oh, and
we need all the help we can get, Ernie.
Well, we
should sit down, have a beer or a cup of coffee, and let's talk about it.
Well, give me a week or two. There's a whole bunch of debriefing stuff and convention and campaign, and there I got 15 gazillion meetings, and then next week we might, and I'll bring this up as part of we can talk about and who might and something because I love you. But the thing is that I'm just not into this refi for my grandkids.
It's not a refi. Look, if we had succeeded 10 years ago, as I showed you the numbers, we would have stopped TARP, we would have stopped Obamacare, we would have stopped the expansion of the Iraq War. I mean, this is real-time stuff. And the reality is this, it took 70 freaking years for the Soviet Union to collapse, and we're not even half as bad as they are yet. So it could be 150 years before you get to your next stage, and I'm not going to be alive for that.
Shoot, it's going to be freaking one Monday pretty soon. We're going to wake up and go, what the hell just happened? That
Maybe, but I don't want to, I don't want to risk it's going to be 150 years like the Roman. I mean, how many years did it take for the Roman Empire to fizzle out?
And people not give you a better beat on what's going to happen happen here too. Got all kinds of lawsuits and stuff. All right, man. Talk to you later, Nick. Thanks for coming on, buddy.